Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video, one of two, second one to follow, will be about the Celtic men's team. This one regarding the Celtic FC Women side, the Celtic Girls. So if you don't follow the Celtic Girls, this video may not be for you, but there is going to be an update on the main men's team later on this afternoon. Celtic disappointingly lost 1-0 yesterday away from home at Hearts in the SWPL. Very poor first half performance. Celtic really didn't get much domination in midfield or attack. Very, very little purposeful balls into the box. Celtic didn't really have terribly many good chances in the first half. Hearts mostly played nice and deep, frustrating Celtic. They did, to their credit, get the ball out of defence nicely. Celtic not really able to press them well enough, possibly due to a lack of pace in the front three players. And Hearts got a lucky goal in the first half, a shot that was missing the post by 2 or 3 feet. Minia McInerney tried to block the shot and instead deflected it the opposite way past Kelsey Doherty, who was diving to save the shot that was missing the post to her left. Unlucky for Kelsey Doherty, unlucky for Minia McInerney. Not really the luck they deserved. Hearts took a 1-0 lead into half-time. Celtic did make a number of changes half-time, which did actually freshen up the side. On came Noonan, Agnew and Kavanagh, and shortly on after that on came Lucy Ashworth-Clifford and Amy Gallagher, those two returning after a period out through minor injury and illness. And to be fair to Celtic, they did perform much, much better in the second half. However, it was one of those days where rather than shots going just inside the post, they scraped the outside of the post 2 or 3 times. Balls deflected off various players and landed perfectly for the defender to clear or for the goalkeeper to smother the ball. And Murphy Agnew did pressurise the Hearts goalkeeper into a poor clearance. It bounced off Murphy Agnew. Would have left Murphy Agnew clean through on goal, except the ball seemed to take a backspin right back into Rachel Johnson, the Hearts goalkeeper's area, and she was able to clear the ball away. Celtic huffed and puffed, tried their hardest in the second half, but in the end, Hearts defended well enough, and those wee bits of rubber the green, refereeing decisions, deflections, etc., didn't really go in Celtic's way. I think it certainly is a time for a regroup for Elena Sadiku and her team. I thought in the first half they looked very tired and disjointed. They were playing in a 3-4-2-1, although the BBC Alba commentator and the pundit, who happens to be the Hearts academy coach at the moment, were convinced that Celtic were playing a 4-5-1. Either way, it didn't look like terribly many of the people in midfield or attack quite knew where they were supposed to be playing. Morgan Cross, I think, was especially disappointing, as were both of the Carson sisters. Shannon McGregor wasn't quite involved as much as she usually is. Emma Lawton had a good 60-70 minutes, but it did seem to disappear in the last 20 minutes. With the restructuring of the side, she seemed to get a bit lost out on the right wing. We weren't really using her very much, which is disappointing, and instead very much more of the play was coming down the left with Amy Gallagher, Lucy Ashworth-Clifford and Murphy Agnew. Saoirse Noonan didn't really have her shooting boots on, and she missed 3 or 4 very good chances, screwing a left foot shot past the post when really she should have gone with the right foot. Similarly, another cross coming in from the right. Saoirse Noonan just a couple of metres out, about 6 yards out, and she hit the ball with her left foot, missing the goals. And then with both with two Celtic players free in the middle. She broke into the box, and rather than crossing to the two unmarked Ghirls, she blazed the ball over the bar. I think Shannon is a very talented striker. It felt as if she was a wee bit tense and nervous, trying to prove herself. I think some of the players were maybe holding back a bit in terms of their tackles and challenges, scared to pick up an injury prior to the game against Real Madrid on Thursday. And I think a few players also were rather tense and nervous about getting selected or on the bench, etc., for the game against Real Madrid. And I felt that Saoirse Noonan and Amy Gallagher and Lucy Ashworth-Clifford all kind of snatched at pretty easy chances in the second half. On another day, Celtic would have won this game 4 or 5-1. However, Hearts did defend well. The Hearts goalkeeper Rachel Johnson, who is an ex-Celtic player, rarely had much to do in terms of actual saves. And Hearts also did a remarkable job at falling down and getting free kicks and falling down with cramp so that their manager, head coach Eva Olid, could get on new instructions and reorganisations of the midfield and defence to combat Celtic's changes. Overall, very disappointing performance. Celtic dropped to 5th. They do have a game in hand against Queen's Park, which should be a fairly easy victory, which would see them jumping back up to 3rd. I think the season is very much still on. I think once Celtic's Champions League games are all done by mid-December, then there'll be a short winter break, and I think after the winter break, it gives Celtic's players a chance to regroup. Things will be on a par with all the other SPWL clubs, rather than Celtic having to squeeze in games, play 2 games per week, long distance travelling as well on 2 out of the 3 Champions League fixtures. And I think those factors at the moment are leaving Celtic a wee bit tired and tense and nervous, and they're not playing to their best ability. However, I do fully believe that with 2 further home games against Rangers, 2 further home games against Glasgow City, 2 further home games against Hearts still to come this season, I'm very sure that Celtic will in the end prevail and win the SWPL title. Just a few stats from yesterday's game do show that Celtic were, for the greater part, the more dominant side, although Hearts were that bit more clinical and efficient in front of goal. Possession was 58-42 to Celtic. Shots 14-12 in favour of Celtic. Shots on target, however, 4 on target for Hearts, 2 on target for Celtic. 10 off targets by Celtic, 5 off targets by Hearts. And I think that is probably the major stat. Celtic had more goal chances, but failed to get as many on target and missed the target 10 times out of 14. Not really good enough. Celtic, 2 shots blocked. Hearts, 3 shots blocked. 4 saves for Kelsey Docherty, who did make a couple of very good saves in the second half. 2 saves for Rachel Johnson in the Hearts goal, and 7 corners to 3. Does kind of show that Celtic had most of the possession, most of the chances, however, didn't get them on target nearly enough, and didn't force Rachel Johnson into enough saves, with too many shots missing their target or being blocked by the Hearts defence. Celtic now will have a rest day, I would guess, and then they'll be off on their travels to Madrid to play Real Madrid in the Champions League on Thursday. I think it is time for a regroup, time for Celtic getting their best team on the pitch week in, week out, and getting a bit of team cohesion going again, which was very strong. We stuck to pretty much the same side most of the time in the games against Wrocław Poltava, and I think that is probably Celtic's best formation and best team and best tactics. However, we seem to have slightly got away from those with the games against FC20 Rangers, and now most recently Hearts. Some good news, however, for the girls. Shannon McGregor, our attacking midfielder, has been called up for the Scotland's women's full international side. I think a good reward for a good start to the season by Shannon. Bit surprised, however, not to see Kelly Clark in the defensive bunch. Bit surprised also to see Emma Lawton not in the defensive squad for that game, as they both had good starts to the season, and their Rangers counterparts who are in the squad have not been terribly impressive in the higher quality games I've seen them, such as the games against Celtic and Glasgow City at the weekend. However, the Scotland women's manager remains loyal to the Rangers players, who seem to be disproportionately in the squad, alongside many of our players playing in England and in Europe. So, a bit disappointing to see Kelly Clark and Emma Lawton not in the squad as well, but well done to Shannon McGregor getting called up into the Scotland international squad for a second chance at international level. That finishes off today's video on the Celtic women's side, Celtic Girls. I will do a post-match review after the Celtic Real Madrid game on Thursday. Just a wee reminder for those new to the channel, not yet subscribed, please do click that subscribe button. If you do like the video, please do click that like button as well, and comment section, as it usually is, open for pleasant, polite debating points on the Celtic women's side, their performance yesterday, who disappointed, who did well, and how you see things panning out for Thursday's game against Real Madrid, and any changes you'd make to the team, the formation, or the tactics for that game. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.